A courtroom drama which might look familiar, but believe me, it's nothing you would expect. Criminal Justice Behind Closed Doors is a gripping tale of a woman, Anu Chandra, played by Kirti Kulhari, who is charged with murdering her husband. While Pankaj Tripathi plays a pivotal role, it's the female characters who lead the show. Criminal Justice Season 2 shows the flawed judicial system and society when it comes to dealing with abuse against women and their inability to talk about it publicly without being criticized. We are in conversation with the female characters from the show. Hello guys, welcome to the Quint.
Thank you. Nice to see you, Avira.
We are here to talk about criminal justice. What a beautiful show, and the way they have talked about such important issues. It's absolutely beautiful. That's why I wanted to talk to the women in the show, because I feel the show is led by the women. Let's first talk about, how much of your personal experience as women do you channel in a story like this?
I think a lot. It happens at a very subconscious and at a conscious level. For a story like this, first of all, in the very beginning, when you read about a story like this or hear it out, your women instincts kick in. Your experiences in life, where whether you've dealt with patriarchy and these problems in a very direct or an indirect manner. I, for one, have also had some legal sort of kind of experiences wherein I've seen how divorce cases in India pan out, and how the lawyers are and how the women also suffer. I've had one or two very close friends go through those terrible experiences, and how then you realize that as a woman you are dealt with a very rough hand per se.
The way I have started approaching my characters is a lot on the basis of just pure emotions of that character. So it's about finding the right emotion, and the right emotion may or may not have to do with the same situation in your own life. You can find the same emotion in some other situation. So it's a very complex process in terms of how do you kind of come together and play something that you do.
Personally, yes, of course there are like references और बहुत सारी ऐसी बातें हैं जो पूरी किसी कैरेक्टर पे बैठा जरूरी नहीं है, बट 10% 20% ऐसा कुछ होता रहता है. सो एग्जैक्टली ऐसा कुछ नहीं है जो हम नहीं जानते हैं. आई थिंक also because we as friends share so much. दुनिया में इतना कुछ हो रहा है जो हम देख रहे हैं, तो we do become kind of vessels, or to tell a story.
So basically what is interesting here is that Mandira Mathur is someone who, despite being a very law-abiding advocate who goes by the book, has also made the mistake somewhere internally of deciding that Anu Chandra is possibly responsible because the person she has stabbed is very close to Mandira. So as a human being, Mandira does err out here. What I do understand is that even I, in personal life, we all tend to jump to conclusions depending on who we like and who we believe is a nicer person, or so we always give an advantage of doubt to somebody we are close to rather than somebody we are not so close to.
सुधा का कैरेक्टर जब मैं कर रही थी, तो it was so unsettling for me at so many levels, because बहुत सारे contradictory उसकी personalities थी. One part of her doesn't want to live. She has given up. Like she has given up on her being कि मेरे साथ कभी कुछ अच्छा हो सकता है. तो उसने कहीं ना कहीं वो accept कर लिया only because of her kid. So there is this will to live because of the kid, and there is this constant angst also, because when I was doing the character, for me to even imagine being in such a place and actually acknowledging that there are a lot of women in our country more than most of the countries, that who are actually going through so many things, but they are just okay with it. They are just okay with it because society has made it like that. You have to be, it's normal.
You know, as actors, when you're doing a show like this or any kind of show, when you're not convinced about something, how do you deal with it? Did that happen in this show?
We have finally shown in CJ that it was the anal sex, right? We have shown anal sex. It could have been, very much a non-consensual forced act, even if it was vaginal. It would have been as much of a crime as it was, with anal sex. So this was one of the points I think I kind of shared with my, I think, directors and writer as to why are we sticking to anal sex, and not because it's very plausible that people can also view now anal sex, which a lot of couples also have consensually, as something being wrong, because we are dealing with people are very sensitive to the information that they receive, And so this was, I think, one of the points, and then they, of course, had their own viewpoints on that, which I think for me as an actor, I don't have to agree with everything 100% on the script. So you have to allow space, you have to be open to other point of views. This is what it's about, because you know what, you are the director, you are the writers, it's your vision more than mine. And I will do what I need to do. So yeah, it's a part of the process, and then it arrives at what it arrives at, and yeah.
See, the new directors were coming, and there was a new writer. Now, even though they had seen season 1, in which the character of Mandira Mathur became really very big, in the season 2 with Vikram, the opening scene where I meet him outside the club, and I say, "Oh, I'm proud of you," and all that, and he says, I met your colleague, and Nikhat's name comes up. Now, the dialogue they had written was Mandira actually speaks badly of Nikhat. So I told them, I said, Mandira is too big. She will not speak badly of her. She will simply dismiss her with saying, oh, she's too emotional, or she gets too personal, because she's way too much of a professional. She's too high up on the rung of her profession to actually sit down and waste her time criticizing. It's not the kind of person she is, So a lot of that had started happening in the beginning, to a point where I started feeling that I'm actually, maybe I'm going to get perceived as someone who's interfering, considering that I'm not even fighting the case this time. For example, I felt that for the kind of hotshot lawyer I'm in the last season, I can't be so easily available to be hanging out with Vijay all the time. I have an office. I'm like Indira Jaising. I have like 20 cases happening that my juniors are dealing with. So I actually told the writers, and I said, when they brought the script, I said, look, at least give her a cell phone on which she's talking and saying, and having another discussion. But they were very clear that they did not want to bring in anything like that, because, it will take away from the main story, and people will wonder, is there another story that's going to come in? So I said, okay, that makes sense. But personally, for me, I did feel that for the kind of lawyer that Mandira is, I had to cut a lot of the dialogue. I actually chopped off my own dialogues. I threw out dialogues, because I said, she will not say this, she will not speak like this, she will not criticize, she will not show her anger as easily as these dialogues are making her show. For example, when the lawyer guy comes out who's goofed up, so that my lines were a bit like, I've never come across such stupidity and such foolishness, and blah, blah, blah. So I said, no, she's not going to say all that. She'll simply say, sorry, my mistake, I chose you. And she'll walk off, and which is what they allowed me to do.
That was classic. So let's talk about consent. I want to ask you guys, ये जो word है consent, ये आप लोगों को as a teenager or as a child, when did you guys realize what it means, and who told you about this? What is consent?
ये consent की बात तो बाद में आती है, पहले तो हमको abuse ही नहीं समझ में आता है बहुत देर तक. So in fact, when my first mature relationship, I'll tell you, happened when this guy, we were clearly going around, but he wasn't admitting to it. And the first time he got jealous, because he showed jealousy, was by slapping me on the face. I was thrilled. I said, wow, he's so jealous. You understand? I was thrilled because he had shown a definite feeling, which is of jealousy and of possessiveness. And that is the time you actually have to realize that it takes you a lot of maturity, a lot of political thinking some years down the line, or then a relationship getting really ugly, where the person then raises their hand whenever they feel like, for whatever reason, for any imagined reason. So it actually took me some amount of taking abuse to understand that this is abuse, because it is no longer, wow, he's crazy about me. It's like, what the shit? And that ended in a way after some years when I actually smashed him in the balls with my knee. So my realization of abuse came from a very physical, real experience of it, which was confused as love, as possessiveness, as this and that.
You know what happens is that many times you're told especially when you're a teenager and growing up, oh, you are leading the men, or you are giving them hints, or you are right, but men think differently, so you need to be careful about how suggestive are you, and whether you can laugh like this or talk like that or go out on dates with them or not, and all of those things. And so so many times, even if it's you 100% don't want to commit to any sort of physical advances, I've seen many girls, and I have also gone through it, where you are constantly questioning whether it's okay for you to say no. And sometimes as women, I've seen this happen a lot, that we kind of don't want to hurt the opposite person, or and out of niceness, for something as frivolous as that, out of niceness, you agree. And I have really heard those instances all my life, which have flabbergasted me. And there have been times I have, felt guilty about saying no. I believe a lot of discussion needs to happen, and it has to happen from parents and teachers primarily from a very, very young age, where women and men, both girls and boys, both need to be taught the importance of consent and about how to respect one another, how to respect each other as human beings first, as two physical bodies first, rather than thinking it's your right, or letting emotions play out at each point in time. So I understood it much earlier in life theoretically, but practically it took me a while to understand that it's my right, and no is a no, and I can say no any point in time. Whenever I'm uncomfortable, I can say it without feeling any sort of pressure.
I come from a family where my parents have never actually felt comfortable even, discussing topics like relationships or sex or, whatever, like any of these things. But I think what's more important is the kind of atmosphere you have in your house otherwise. I always saw my parents, my dad and my mom, never really disrespecting each other. I knew that my mom mattered as much as my dad. So I'm saying a lot more gets conveyed through the actions of the adults and the elders in the house. And I think that is something that needs to be worked on.
हम जिस जगह पे पले बड़े, तो वो एक छोटा शहर है, तो वहाँ पे जो हमको 90s की फिल्मों में दिखाया जाता था कि लड़का पीछा करता है और लड़की शर्माती है, और इट्स ओके बिकॉज हम उसको एक रोमांटिक कैटेगरी में हमेशा उसको डालते थे. बट तो इसीलिए जब मैं बड़ी हो रही थी, तो बहुत बार मेरे साथ भी ऐसा हुआ दैट मेरे को बहुत सारे लड़कों ने छेड़ा, मुझे बहुत सारे होता है. But for me, I did not realize it for a very long time that this is not okay. Yes, with time, obviously, because when you are getting irritated by something, you are not liking it also actually after a point. So tab aapko lagta hai, "Arey, we don't want it." And that was the first time I realized that my consent is as important as anybody else's,
It's relatively a newer word for me. Because so many times in my life I've realized that I didn't know the word for it, but of course you understand the emotion of it. And also for me it has mostly been a case of trial and error, so but yes, of course you realize how important it is, but more than that you realize that it also comes from this level of self-esteem before anything else. If you have a decent amount of self-esteem, I think that is what also gets communicated to the other person. I think it is lack of self-esteem most of the times that may lead to any kind of conflict between two individuals.
So I really don't know how to answer, because I don't know when did this knowledge came in me that these are the things which you should speak about. And बहुत सारी my mother has always been very protective of me, So I've always had gone to her whenever something odd or alien happened around me or to me or anything like that. So from then, I guess मुझे ये idea तो समझ में आ गया था कि see this is wrong and this is right.
You know, consent शब्द कभी हमारे बीच में ऐसे डिस्कस नहीं होता है या ऐसे कोई बात नहीं होती है. And thanks to Pink, which was 2016, which basically was about consent, which is about no means no. That and I very clearly remember while it was based on a particular case, you know, ये टॉपिक भी छिड़ा था कि क्या फिर शादी में भी कंसेंट होना जरूरी है, you know, and here we are 4 years, you know, down the line and talking about the same thing in such a way that yes, very much consent is consent. It is about, as I said, respecting the space of the other person, respecting the human in the other person, and it matters everywhere. And so yeah, I think Pink was such a brilliant film and such a brilliant way to, you know, bring this term to, you know, to be discussed like this. So yeah,
I had no idea for the longest time that there's something called marital rape. मतलब शादी में रेप हो सकता है, but a relationship is about respecting each other, right? Marriage. That's what I thought. So, and now we realize that it's not a crime in India. Like, what the hell? Do you think it's fair? What do you think about it?
You're so right about the fact that it really, like, this concept of ki, I mean, it's almost like it's a given. शादी है तो it goes both ways कि इसमें तो सब अच्छा ही होना चाहिए, you know, because आपने वही देखा है couples के बीच में कहाँ पता चलता है आपको क्या चल रहा है किसके बीच में, you know, everyone is so busy portraying a relationship which may not be the most you know, happy or healthy behind closed doors, you know, but at the same time कि ये क्या concept होता है, मतलब एक ये भी बहुत बड़ी conditioning है हमारी.
I feel it is also because of all that we see or read. Like, for example, those fairy tales that we read, happily ever after, once they get married, and that's it. And I'm like, हम बच्चों को उसके आगे क्या होता है सिखाते ही नहीं है, right?
Yes, you're right. As kids, if you are taught, if you're reading fairy tales and everything is like, मतलब शादी हुई, एक, you know, राजकुमार आया और मतलब फिर उसके बाद तो लाइफ का कोई कुछ और बचता ही नहीं है, you know, आपने निर्वाणा अटेन कर लिया है. So that kind of a space, you know, in terms of, yes, all of this is responsible. It is a conditioning at a level that we cannot even like fathom. You know, हमें लगता है कि छोटे शहरों में, गांव में ऐसी बातें होती हैं. कहाँ आपको सीजे में, that's exactly why we have picked up a character like Anuradha Chandra, who's married into a very influential family. She's very well educated, everything, and yet she falls for this shit. And how? In the show, if you see, Khushbu's character Ratna is far more empowered than a lot of us. Surely far more than. I'm on the other extreme, my character. It's not a strata thing. It's not a status thing. It is just about a lot of other things which I think we just need to start talking about and looking into.
मेरे को ऐसा लगता है हम इसको क्राइम इसलिए नहीं मान सकते क्योंकि फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल तो हम अभी आज से मैं मेट्रो सिटीज की बात ही करूंगी, लेकिन छोटे शहरों में सिर्फ आज से 10 साल पहले तक कोई भी मतलब प्री मैरिटल सेक्स छोटे शहरों में नहीं होता था. तो मान लो हमसे जो पहले की जनरेशन या हमसे जो 10-15 साल बड़ी जो लड़कियां हैं, उनके लिए सेक्स was only after marriage, right? So sex was also a big thing in their head also for a very long time. So because they are waiting till marriage to experience something like that. So ek to because it becomes so big in their head, and they look forward for it, obviously, because because they are not allowed to have a boyfriend, most of them. तो क्या होता है कि ऐसे सिचुएशन में if you end up in a marriage where actually you are getting raped, you are embarrassed to tell people because first of all you don't want to acknowledge it because तुम्हारा dream world shatter हो जाएगा. There is no acknowledgement from your family, because it is embarrassing for them. Imagine a mother telling, my daughter is getting raped by her husband. उनको लगेगा यार लोग हम पे हंसेंगे, ये क्या बोल रहे हैं, ये तो कुछ हमने तो कभी नहीं सुना. Even if you want to go forward, you don't have any option. As you said, it is not a crime. so you actually end up being at a worse place where you actually were, because you lose your family also, you lose a certain standing in the society also. उस society में जहाँ पे generally 80% लोग orthodox हैं.
I've discussed this in the past with the lawyers. The problem is it has to be criminalized. It definitely has to be criminalized because it's very, very prevalent and people don't understand that it's a crime. They don't know that, as we've discussed, they don't know that they have a right to speak up. They think it's very normal. It's your duty to please each other if you're married. But criminalizing it is also not easy because you never know if it's a he said, she said, and you don't know if somebody, man or woman, would, misutilize it. It's quite possible, right? To get the other partner to succumb to their wants and desires and use it in the wrong way. That's where I think that talking is very important. Like, where if you're suffering abuse over a period of years, you need to be communicating with your friends or your parents or someone so you have witnesses. It needs to be criminalized, but this kind of atmosphere needs to be available where people are communicating and there's no shame attached to it. Like what we have discussed in the show very clearly is that Anu Chandra is one of those women who don't talk about what's happening to them, what's happening to her, not just because she doesn't know that people will believe her or not, but also because she's very shameful about it. She feels that it's something that's wrong with her or something's happening to her which she cannot discuss.
No, I'll tell you, it's not just about the law. It's also about the relationship factor. How many couples fight and then make up using sex? Instead of talking through their problems, their issues, couples fight, they scream, they throw tantrums. It's not just men who rape women. Women can be equally awful with men and demand sex in a certain way and say, you don't satisfy me, but they have actually also killed his libido in many ways by maybe criticizing him, saying, you're not rich enough, you're not bringing enough money, you're not powerful enough, you could have got that promotion, you didn't get it. So a man's libido goes down, So this definition of rape will actually only come with physical violence, because we have not understood the idea of marriage in its pure form. We don't know even what a marriage is meant to be. A marriage is not meant to be just about hanging out together and buying property together, or having children together, or seeing that, okay, it's about a lot of everyday respect, a lot of everyday allowing the other person to grow. So this is a complicated question and it doesn't have a simple answer.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you so much for talking to us.
It's really an honor and a pleasure. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye, Khushbu. Bye.
Bye. Bye, Nisha.